We have a brand new version coming out. Today is the official release date, so you'll be getting this newest version we'll schedule within the next probably 2 weeks or so. And a couple of major enhancements in this latest version. The first of which is flexibility in the interface. So brand new world in terms of what you can accomplish in terms of the interface. What I'm going to walk through with you is the new default screens. We have a brand new set of default screens that we think is a little more user-friendly. And you'll have an option. Actually, you have 3 options in terms of what you can do. You can stick with your interface just as it is. If you're happy with it, that's perfectly fine. You can just switch over to our new default. Or if you want to, which I would actually suggest to you, you can get creative and design your own interface and your own screens the way you want them to look. What I'd also suggest is maybe just a separate section in your notepad there to note down ideas that you come up with, things that you see that we go over that you like, and just the way you want your screens, the reports that we show you that you might want to have on your install as well. I was just noting them down, and then we'll go through them with you individually when we do the one-on-one sessions on Friday. That's my suggestion. So this is the home screen. The home screen is, in fact, not changed much. For those who don't know, though, this is not something that everyone utilizes, and I think more people could. This left-hand column is what's called an RSS feed. So what that means is this is a live feed into Yahoo News, and it's filtered based on certain keywords. So in the one that I'm showing right now is actually one that we did for Trade Pro, and I think that we filtered it on like the words plastic commodities or something along those lines. So now anytime news comes up through Yahoo News in real time, it shows up on the home page. So you can just click into the articles and it brings you into the Yahoo News articles. So this is one of those things that we can pretty easily set up for you. There's not much to it. You just need to let us know what keywords would be relevant to you that you would want to show up. Some people don't like having it show up because it's a distraction. So that's also up to you. So we'll start with the sales and purchases section here. And the first place is the products screen, where there's change. So this is the product scan. I'll pick one. Let's choose this 8-ounce tuna steaks, for example. So first thing you notice is this whole top section up here, what we call the summary window, on the top is now totally customizable. So you can put whatever fields you want to appear up there all the time, can be up there. We, in fact, I think just left the ones that are up there, but reorganized them to shrink that top window a bit so you get more use of the rest of the screen. But you can put fields up there that are just informational, but you could also put data entry type fields up there if you wanted to as well. So we have product key, accounting key right under it. Normally that was on the right-hand side. You can place copy. You can copy from other products if you're creating new products. You can choose whether or not this product is active. So if you want to inactivate products, you can do that, and it keeps the history. And then this is just the timestamp information there on the right-hand side. It just timestamps who the last user to make a change was and when. As far as the general information goes, what we did here is just sort of break it up and put it in 2 columns. So this is also new in terms of columns. This is one of the legitimate complaints that we get relatively often was wasted space on the screen. And it's true, we know. But, so what we're able to do now is you can do 3 columns worth of data within a tab. So you can see how here we set up 2 columns. I think it probably presents a little better with 2 columns, especially if you have one of these big, what we call memo fields. But you can in fact do up to 3 columns on a single tab. So if you wanted everything to just appear on one tab and just have 3 columns, you can do that. But this is the new default, so we lined it up with name, additional description, a standard product weight. For those who use that field, the idea is if you're buying and selling in a unit measure other than weights, like eaches or cases or something, you can indicate how much each piece or case weighs. And that information can be used in generating shipping documents if you want to calculate the total cost of shipping or the total weight that's being shipped. That's how that information is used. There's the default sale and purchase unit measure. I should point this out too. Anyone who doesn't fill this in already absolutely should, because it saves you every single time you place a purchase order or a sales order. it saves you the effort of entering the unit and measure in that order. So that's one of just absolutely obvious things you should be doing. The markup percentage, a reorder point, and notice here we also indicated this is for all warehouses. That's what that reorder point references. That information can be used in alerts, which we'll be talking more about. But the idea is, if you want the system to alert you, if you've dropped below a certain stock level in your warehouses, you can do so by utilizing that field there. Default sale price and default purchase price, that information will show up automatically when you go to place a sales order or a purchase order. That information can be overwritten by if you have specific customer level pricing. So if your customers have a contract price with a particular customer, that overrides the default price. And then package markings appears here on the right. It used to be way down at the bottom. You used to have to scroll. So that's the other thing we've tried to accomplish is less scrolling. Horizontal scrolling we try and avoid altogether, but less vertical scrolling as well. Try and get more on the screen without scrolling. So package markings is now on the right. Tariffs and groups has been combined. So that the tariff information is there on the left. Another thing I'll mention, if you don't utilize this tariff code information already, the way it works is there's a tariff code table in which you can keep track of the different HTS codes that your product can fall under. So we recommend utilize the table, and then within each product you select which HTS code that specific product relates to. This way, if there's a duty rate change, you can change the duty rate right there in the table, and then all the products will pick that up. That's the idea. So that's the HTS codes, duty rates, and groupings. So most of you probably already know this, but you can group products, and that information is available in the standard reports. So in this case, we have product type and product category. You can also have any other groups you want. Industry is one that you'll see quite often, and then that information is available in all your standard reports. Instructions and comments, handling instructions and comments. We actually changed this field name. It used to be called logistics instructions, but we thought it'd be more sensible to call it handling instructions. The idea there is if you have any handling instructions that's specific to this product, like it's a hazardous product, or it needs to be kept refrigerated, or anything that anyone who's handling the product should know, that information shows up on documentation that goes to warehouses and goes to freight carriers. So that's information that will show up on documentation. Comments is internal only, and most people know this already, but anywhere you see comments throughout the system, that's internal comments only. The synonyms are other ways you can refer to the product. I won't go through that because most people already know that. And then documents and images. So, and by the way, there's additional tabs here which I left on, but any custom tabs that we developed for you guys, they can also appear there, but we can consolidate them if you want to as well. That's the new default product screen, which you're welcome to use. We think it makes a little more sense, but again, if you want to customize it, and you can remove fields. If you don't want fields, you can take them away. That didn't used to be the case. You didn't used to be able to remove standard system fields, but now you can. The other thing I should mention, because Andy's going to actually get into a little bit more of the details in terms of how you can customize your own screen. But I'm going to show you that the default container screen is another one of the big changes here. So let's pick a piece of paper. This one, let's say. Okay, so once again, there's a change in the summary window up top. It shrunk down a bit, and we put up here what we thought was the more relevant information. I think in the past, I can't actually remember what we had up there before, but I remember it took up too much space and wasn't necessarily the most relevant information. So now it's the container number, voyage number, vessel, and ETA and ETD. And of course, and it used to be editable. That's true too. Now it is. Then the first tab is the ventures tab. That's the same as it was. It shows you what's on that container and the quantities. You can also make quantity changes here, by the way. For those who don't know that, if you want to make quantity changes directly in the container, you can do that. And the other thing probably many people don't know is you can change the product at this point if you want to in the container screen. So if you receive the shipping documents from the supplier and you realize that they shipped you something different than you ordered, which I don't know if that happens for everyone, but if you do, you can actually come in here and change the product by clicking on the, is it this thing you click on? Yeah, okay, it is. So you click on the product ID, and in this case, it says I can't change it because it's already allocated. But, so once it's allocated, you can't change it at that point. But assuming that that product has not been allocated, you can change the product. And does it go back and change the PO? No, it goes back and change the PO. The general information you'll see has also been split out and put into two columns. So you got document status, the last time the document status was updated, port, shipping company, all the default shipping data is split out, and then the comments and so on the right-hand side. Now, do we do away with trans? Okay. So in the default version, we've now eliminated that transshipment information. So if you utilize that already, then you don't want to take our default. But very few people we found were using it, maybe 10%. We're actually entering information in that tab, so we just said, okay, so for the default, we'll take it out. If people want to use it, they can. And that's it as far as the data entry screen. It's just the general info, and then the links screen is the same, and the documents and images screen is the same. But you see the one other thing, which we'll get into a little bit more later, is now on several of the screens in the system, there's access to freightquote.com. And we're going to explain a little later on exactly what that means, but the idea is you can actually get freight quotes from trucking companies based on information from the system and book the freight right through the system. And if you want to